I remember we were at Michael's parents' house. I don't remember what we were there for, but it was like we stayed up all night playing games with them, like card games and stuff, and it
Yeah.
was like 2 AM, and I just happened to check my phone, my email before bed, and it was like, "Congratulations, you're invited," and I cried. I was so excited because it's always been a dream of mine to have the little check mark, like,
Yeah,
I think it's a really big deal,
it
so,
is. It's not an easy thing to get.
yeah.
Hey, she's a beauty. Hey, she's a beauty.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to come share their experiences, stories, and advice. And today I am so happy to have Ames. Welcome.
Hi. Hello,
So
hello.
first, let me say congratulations on the engagement. That is pretty exciting.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a little overdue, but hopefully he doesn't listen to that part. I'm just
So,
kidding. I'm just giving him shit.
so did you know it was coming? Did you have any inclination?
No
Oh
idea, no
wow.
idea. Yeah, we've been together since we were in high school, like 9 years,
Yeah.
and, I kind of assumed something was coming along, especially since in the 9 years of dating him, this man, anytime I've ever reached for his phone, has never pulled it away from me.
Oh, okay.
And we were in the truck one day, and I went to I think, like, went to go map something or respond to his mom, I don't even know. But I like, his phone went off, and I picked it up, and he snatched it out of my hand, and I was like, "He's either cheating or he has a ring, and I doubt he's cheating."
Awesome. Now, how
So,
did he do it?
um, well, we were at his family's ranch,
Mm-hmm.
and he he loves it there. It's a place where he feels happy and safe, and his whole family was there. But he didn't really want it to be around anyone. He just always wanted it to be us, and he wanted to be, like, in the moment. Like, he didn't even know when he was gonna do it. He just said,
Yeah.
"Is whenever it feels right." And so, we were fishing out by a little pond, and, the sun it sounds so cheesy and cliche, but, like, the sun was setting, and there's music playing, and I was fishing, and I was dancing, and he walked on over, and I had no idea what was going on, and then
Yeah.
he did the whole, like, got down on one knee, said my name, and I was like, "Oh, this is happening." I had no idea it was coming, and he didn't
Yeah.
even know. He's been holding on to the ring apparently for, like, 6 months just waiting for the right moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, actually, we have something in common there. I proposed to my wife when she was living in Texas too. So, yeah,
Oh my
many years
gosh.
ago. This is going to be our 25th wedding anniversary this year. So it's been a while.
25th.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Holy
So
cow.
it's all good. All right. So
Wow.
what we do here first is we start off with the three quick questions to get the juices flowing. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Favorite childhood vacation?
Oh, my family and I, my parents and my siblings, we took a cruise to, like, the Bahamas and Key West and stuff like that. Probably that was the best little family vacation I had when I was younger. That's actually the
Yeah.
first time I got drunk, was in the Bahamas, off of Bahamas. But it was a lot of fun. That was legally in high school.
All right, there we
We'll
go.
say legally.
Sounds good. All right, so you can travel back into history any part for a week. What part of history would you go to and where would you be? You could just be a fly on the wall or, live in that moment. Where would you go?
I've always been infatuated with New York and the 20s.
Okay.
I loved the style. I loved the whole, like, obviously they didn't love it, but the prohibition, so you were
Yeah.
sneaky and speakeasies. Like, I think I would like to be dressed in a cute little flapper dress in a speakeasy somewhere, just drinking, like, a martini or something. I don't know.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Last movie you saw?
In the theaters?
Yeah, or at home, doesn't matter.
I rewatched, my favorite movie the other night by myself. I watched, Moulin Rouge.
Okay,
Yeah,
very good.
so seen it a million times and could quote it
Yeah.
forward to back, but, yeah, but that's what I watched last.
All right, perfect. All right, so you grew up in Texas,
Mhm.
and who are you? What? Yeah, tell me about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Amy. I grew up in a small town south of San Antonio. Um, I I hate and loved where I grew up. I've always felt like I was more of a not a city girl, but like a city girl. Like I preferred to be around people and places and going out and stuff like that. Very social there. But I grew up there, and then I went to college at Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas, and then we moved to Austin for Michael's job, and I started streaming more. I went full time, but yeah,
Wow.
just always been in Texas, never
All
anywhere
right.
else.
Now, what did you take in at university?
Um, I originally went to be a teacher,
Yeah.
and to be specifically a dance teacher, like a dance instructor for like a high
Mm-hmm.
school or, so I went for education and dance. And then while I was there, I was like, you know what? I don't know why I want to be a teacher because like I'm blessed teachers, first off, they're amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
I hated school growing up.
Yeah.
So no, I was like, why am I going to college
Oh God, yeah.
to go back to school?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, "No, I need to switch this up," and, I had a love for summer camps, so I worked at summer camps every year, and I was like, "I would love to either own my own summer camp
Mm-hmm.
um, or help run one or something like that," so I went for recreational administration.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Um, Fell in love with that, fell in love with the teachers and my classes and what I was doing, and which is super funny because that's all outdoorsy and, like, stuff like that,
Yeah.
and now I'm a streamer and I'm inside for 8 hours a day streaming, so
So now, speaking of streaming, when did you start gaming?
young.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, my mom, when I was, like, 8 or 7, I don't even remember, like, we had the Atari, and we played all those games, and then, um, went to the PlayStation 3 and played a lot of RuneScape when I was younger
Yeah.
and in middle school and high school, and then, started playing in college because Michael was playing a lot of, like, Overwatch and Destiny, Call of
Yeah.
Duty. So then I finally got my own PlayStation and was playing, and then while I was in college, I fell in love with the idea of streaming and what streaming could do, and so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"I wanna do this too as just, like, a hobby, and if it goes
Yeah.
somewhere, it goes somewhere, if it doesn't, it doesn't." I have my job that I'll have with recreational administration ended up going really well, and here we are.
Oh, wow. So now, when did you transfer from console to PC?
Um, when I started playing Tarkov, basically, I did play a
Okay.
little bit of Valorant first,
Yeah.
but, I think I've only been on mouse and keyboard, PC. Hmm. Actually, I switched to PC gaming probably about 2 years ago,
Okay.
but the playing mouse and keyboard for Tarkov and Valorant, probably a little over a year and a half by now.
All right. And what's your
Yeah.
all-time favorite game?
Um, Probably Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Yeah. No, that was a great one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So I love hanging out in your stream. Your chat is fantastic. The banter you have with all the people you play with is funny as hell. It's you sound like you always enjoy what you're doing.
I am in love with what I do. I'm very, very thankful to have this J Omega Lil beef, but really, I really am. I'm happy that I've met such amazing people along the way, and my community that I've grown is my heart and soul. So I am very happy. Yes.
Excellent. So you started streaming in college,
Mhm.
and what made you want to, go live?
I again, it was just like one of those things where I was like, why not? I don't like playing video games alone. I never
Mm-hmm.
have. I always like being with people, and through college, the groups that I had made friends with were so like, "Are they on tonight? Are they not? Am I gonna
Yeah.
be alone?" And Michael was like, "Well, why don't you just start streaming? Like, then you'll have people." Michael's my fiance.
Yeah.
You'll have people to talk to all the time and get to know and stuff like that. And of course, like it doesn't just come that easy. It's not like I'm gonna have all these people to talk to right away, but you
Right.
start somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, and I also just adored watching streamers. Like
Hmm.
myself, I was obsessed with Twitch. I loved, especially during the Fortnite era, watching like Valkyrae and Pokey and Lupo and of course like Ninja and Tim, all of them. And I just like
Yeah.
thought they were so cool, and I wanted to be just like them. I was like, "I wanna do that. I wanna have." And it wasn't so much like, I wanna do it because I want this, like, fame or money. It was like, I
Hmm.
wanna do it because I wanna, like, they have this, like, dope community that, like, cares about them, and they care about their community, and they're able, like Lupo, to raise millions of dollars
Yeah.
for St. Jude and things like that, and I always thought that was really cool, so
That's cool. Yeah, that's the one thing I really noticed. Everybody who's doing this just speaks about how much they love their community. And you're talking, yes, you probably never meet a lot of these people in real life, but there's some instances like I had Markstrom on, and he was talking about how his first sub was his first mod, who ended up being his best man at his wedding years later. And it's just these relationships it's really cool to see.
mhm, mhm. I've made some of my best friends through it. Um, and then on top of that, like my mods, I adore them. They've done so much for me, and they've been my friends for a long time. And so like my channel wouldn't be what it is without them either. So
Yeah. Now, do you remember
yeah,
your first sub?
yeah, it was it was Michael. It was
Ah.
Michael and my mom actually. My mom has been like a day one,
Yeah.
and just some friends growing up, like my brother and his friends, and the people I was gaming with at the time. But yeah.
Yeah, I see. Like, seems like your mom is active in your community, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, cause she's always loved video games as well, like,
Yeah,
like I said, I played with her growing up, and she played Call of Duty and, as well, like, I
yeah,
would sit back and watch her play Call of Duty, off the PlayStation in our living room, and so, I I love that she's in love with video games, and she's able to understand kind of why I love them,
hmm,
and then she gets it, she gets the technology, she comes in, she hangs out, and I think she just also really, like, I guess, like, cares about, like, that I love it, 'cause
yeah.
she's so
You're
super
happy.
supportive. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm very thankful for that because from what I've heard, it makes me sad, is, like, a lot of my streamer friends don't have that,
Hmm.
and they don't have that support, and so I'm very, very thankful that I do.
Yeah. Yeah. The ones that I've talked to who've come on the podcast, they're successful, and they attribute that to their spouse, or be having supportive parents too. So yeah, it's a big thing to have, backing you up, that support infrastructure.
Mhm. Yeah, her support, and I definitely would not be where I am without Michael
Yeah.
either. Oh my gosh, just, like, he's just helped me so much with the technology of it all.
Yeah.
Just because he's always been way better at it than I am, and then on top of that, just emotionally supportive
Yeah.
through the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. I had Sigma on last week, and she echoed the same thing about Hotel, her husband. Just like, she's
Yeah.
crying, trying to do stuff, and Hotel's coming in and fixing all the technology and whatnot. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's cool.
He's great. He's my little PR guy too. Like, I'll sit there, like, about to send a tweet, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "How does this sound?" He's like, maybe not that." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're right," you know?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
shoot. Now, what was your first game you streamed?
Fort Fortnite.
Why'd you laugh? It's not a bad
I don't
thing.
know. It's not it really isn't anything to be ashamed of, especially since, like, there's so much success that came from Fortnite and stuff like that, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I laugh at myself because I was so young, not young, but
Mm-hmm.
young, I guess, like, into streaming and a little
Yeah.
bit naive that I thought I could just go live playing Fortnite and I'd blow up,
Yeah.
like, not that it was the intention to grow big from it, but, um, then I realized that it was a very saturated game, especially at the time,
Yeah.
and I gotta do more than just go live,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's funny how you chuckle at Fortnite. I had the same thoughts and whatnot, and I had a couple of people recently on a pod and who are involved with the Fortnite community, and they hooked me up with they told me about a streamer to check out. I checked it out, and I told my little 12-year-old, and she goes, "Dad, do not have any Fortnite streamers on. I will be so embarrassed. All my friends play Fortnite." I was like, okay, Olivia, it's like, all right,
it's one of those games where it just was so big that
yeah,
people, they do that thing where it's like oh, it's just so basic. It's Fortnite, it's basic. But, at the time, it was so much fun, and,
Yeah.
no one can deny that it was the biggest game in the world for the
Mhm.
longest time, and that it
Yeah.
did incredible things for so many people.
Oh, absolutely. It's and,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with playing a game that you have fun with. That's, it
Oh,
doesn't,
it was fun, yeah.
yeah. Cool. So now, how long, or I guess, when did you know you could take this full time or start making a career? Did you hit a point where or you just jumped in and, just things fell in line?
Yeah, so I was working, after school, after college. I graduated and the pandemic hit, so I could not get a job where
Yeah.
I wanted to. Luckily, I have a family that could take me in, and, I worked for my grandparents' company as, like, a receptionist and stuff,
Hmm.
and, while I was doing that, of course, streaming, and I told myself that I would not go full-time unless I doubled what I was making
Yeah.
at where I was at for at least 6 months consistently,
Hmm.
which is advice I've heard from so many streamers along the way.
Yeah.
And so I, um, I started seeing more traction. I started seeing the viewership go up,
Hmm.
and, I'm very thankful for him, but I also met Lupo and that crew,
Yeah.
which brought more attention to the channel and more traffic, and so it just started flowing, and I could see it, and I wanted to go with the snowball effect and kinda take the risk, so I still did the part-time,
Yeah.
but I did start hitting those goals, and so I finally was like, "Okay, I did it, I think I'm ready," and I went from full-time to part-time where I was at, and then it was just to a point where I was like, I cannot not go full-time. I need
Right.
to do this, and if I'm gonna take the leap, it's right now, and I did it, and I haven't looked back, and we've only kept growing, which
Yeah.
is insane.
Well,
It's been a lot of fun.
that is fantastic. Now, do you want to give a
Yeah.
shout out to any of the mods that you have?
Oh, oh my goodness, yes. Well, I have Michael, of course,
Yes.
but I have my mods that have been there since day one. One of my IRL friends, his name's, Dylan, he goes by Ekener in my chat. He's been great, he's been super supportive. I met a lot of friends through Valorant that have became my mods, and then I call him my head mod, which I don't think I've ever actually called him that to his face, but I consider him like my head mod. His name's Q Jam. He's kinda like, how Tim the Tatman has his whips?
Hmm.
He's like my whips. Like, the banter between him and I is hilarious, and I just yell at him, and he yells at me, and he's a really good friend. He's the mod that if I'm having a bad day, I see a little message pop up in Discord, and he's like, "Hey" wait, can I cuss on this podcast?
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, you're a bad bitch, like, get it together. Stop fucking throwing a fit." I'm like, "You're right, Q." So, yeah, he's great, but and they were supportive when I went full time,
Yeah.
and then, I've had the mods that throughout time haven't been able to be there all the time because of real life stuff,
Yeah.
and I tell them all the time, "Don't feel like you have to be around all the time, just whenever you can. It's
Yeah.
okay." So,
Very cool. Now, when did you hit Twitch? When did you get your partnership?
I I always forget the date. It it's back in February? I actually just hit the year of partnership, I
Oh,
think in
wow.
February this year.
Yeah.
So, last year is when I got it. It's actually this funny enough, it's actually the same day that Lupo's is when he
No
was
way.
on Twitch,
Yeah.
but he's not anymore. I'm sure I could
Yeah.
look it up.
Now, how many times did you apply for it?
2?
Okay.
I I I believe I think I did. I don't that I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
applied when I was just barely, like, passing the requirements,
Yeah.
and then the next time I did it, it was like, "Okay, if I don't get it, I'm gonna be a little upset because I feel like I'm there, but
Yeah.
if I don't, it's okay, we keep working," and
Hmm.
I remember we were at Michael's parents' house, I don't remember what we were there for, but it was like we stayed up all night playing games with them, like card games and stuff, and it
Yeah.
was like 2 a.m., and I just happened to check my phone, my email before bed, and it was like, "Congratulations, you're invited," and I cried. I was so excited because it's always been a dream of mine to have the little check mark, like,
Yeah,
I think it's a really big deal.
it
So,
is. It's not an easy thing to get.
yeah.
It's fantastic. Now, over the, like you've transitioned through a few games. How big of adjustment is that for your, first your community? Because I've talked to a lot of people and they talk about like, having that one game, keeping my numbers up, and if I switch, I don't want to lose that community or those people that are see me play this one game. What's that been like for you?
Um, Actually that's currently a big challenge for me right now is finding the variety because variety, I think personally, and like I've been told, is very healthy for your channel.
Yeah,
Um, like I said, I started with Fortnite and I told myself business wise, this is not good. If is and not that I needed at the time again, I was more focused on what I was going to college for.
yeah,
But I was like, might as well if I'm going to be doing this, put some effort and, think about statistics and stuff like that. But I knew that it was too saturated. And if I wanted to have numbers, it was going to have to be with a different game.
yeah,
So then Valorant was out, and I was like, maybe Valorant. Maybe I learned mouse and keyboard. Everyone's saying mouse and keyboard is huge for streaming,
yeah,
and I'm like, okay. So I tried that again. Still very saturated. Watched a lot of Lupo and Michael was playing himself. He was playing Escape from Tarkov.
yeah,
And I kind of went and looked at the category and I was like, okay, so this game isn't super huge, but it's
yeah.
not a game that people don't know about.
Right.
And so I was like, and there's not many female creators at the time. Of
Yeah,
course, like there was Sigma and Magpie and
yeah,
like Bazinga and all that. But I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do this, like this is probably a good route. And uh took the leap, started streaming it, met so many amazing, amazing people. I will always, always, always hype up the Escape from Tarkov community. I think they're fantastic about
yeah.
supporting each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to do the same thing. But I just saw so much support from the women I was playing with and the other
Yeah,
people I was playing with, and numbers were slowly, slowly increasing um, into where we're at now.
yeah,
I have numbers just recently too that I've been seeing that I'd never thought I would see before. It actually
yeah.
makes me really emotional looking at my numbers sometimes. I just feel like I'm dreaming. I'm very, very thankful. But I have people that I look up to and people that I'm currently working with. I'm part of this program. Do you know what have you heard of Loaded GG? Loaded
Yes,
the
I've heard. I've seen a few people that have that tag and whatnot. So is that like a streamer
Yes.
team?
No, they are like, they're a marketing team. That's the word I was
Yeah,
looking for. They work with influencers and branding and
yeah.
stuff like that. But I can't believe I couldn't think of the word marketing. They're amazing. Anyway, I'm doing this program with them right now, and they give you a bunch of advice and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And they're like, you need to throw in variety and you need to take that risk. Your numbers are going to be lower,
yeah.
but it's healthy for you in the channel, because I mean, I doubt it, but, like, what if something happens to Tarkov,
You don't
or
know. Yeah.
you never know, or I mean, just for even just mental health, like, I don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, I adore this game and everything that it's done for me, but you can't it's hard to play the same game for years every single day, 8 hours a day, like, you gotta switch it up,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and so I've been taking the risk, and numbers are lower when I play other games, but
Yeah.
and I take a step back and I'm like, "But there's still numbers that I would have dreamed of having 2 years ago."
Yeah.
So, I'm still very
Well,
happy with that.
you've got your base of your community now who like you, who come to watch you and hear you. So sometimes it's not about the game you're playing. It's just coming and hanging out. They've got a
Mhm.
connection to you. So wherever you go, it's you'll probably get a good chunk of those people coming along anyway. So and it's good
Yeah.
not to be stuck with the one game.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Now you hit a few points that I want to touch on. One was, you've came from a couple of different games to Tarkov, and you talked about how the female community is really good here.
Mhm.
Coming from other games, was it just a little bit not as friendly, or it was just more, less females playing?
Um, That's the thing, I feel like there were so many females in other categories, which is
Yeah,
not a bad thing because I love seeing women in gaming. This is
yeah,
not an industry, it's a male-dominant industry, so it's amazing to see, women streaming no matter what. But I think that what drew me to Tarkov too was that it's a game that I feel like is hard to attract women to.
yeah.
It's a darker game, it's intent not that women are, but,
Right, yeah,
it's not the basic games and stuff like that.
right.
It's different, and it's hard to learn for anybody, male or female, and, I just noticed going through, um, the list of streamers, the
Yeah,
category of Tarkov, I was just like, "I don't see many women as much as I do in Valorant, in
yeah,
Fortnite, in Overwatch, in Rainbow," which Rainbow too is, I think, a really good game for females to get
yeah,
into, but yeah, so I was just like, maybe, like, it's a risk, but it's also like, there's not a lot of females, so maybe I could be different and be a
yeah,
female in this game, and now and my heart is so full because there's so many female streamers too. Like it's
yeah.
grown, the game's grown, the category's grown, and I'm in a Discord actually that I got invited to with just a ton of female streamers in
Yeah.
the Tarkov category,
Is it the
and we call it
Chaddettes or something
it's
else?
yeah, it's the
Yes.
Chaddettes, and I'm just like, "There's so many women!" And it's sick because I don't know, I have always I love seeing women supporting women,
Mhm.
and this I I kinda brought her up earlier, but or both of them up, MsMagpie and
Mhm.
Bazinga, that
Yeah.
B, and Ammunition. I
Yeah.
would not be where I am in this game or in this category of streaming without those ladies.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time how thankful I am that they were so patient with me in teaching me Tarkov because it
Yeah.
was hard.
Oh
They
god,
were my
yes.
Sherpas,
Yeah.
and then just streaming overall, like, asking them questions, they were been doing it longer, and Magpie has been amazing and supportive and has always been so helpful throughout the whole thing, so I adore them, and I wanna do
Awesome.
that for other people too, and I try to, and try to support my friends as much as I can.
Excellent. Yeah, it's, up until a few episodes ago, I've Spooky was the first girl on my podcast. Prior to that,
Mhm,
I've had, a bunch of great guys, and we're always talking about how great Tarkov is. We have so many great kick-ass ladies playing Tarkov. But to finally
mhm.
have a couple of girls on, like Spooky, Nixia, and Sigma, and they're all talking about how great the community is for them. It's like family, and Nixie was told me about the Chadettes, how that seems such a cool thing. You guys are all looking out for each other and just, passing information around. It's really cool to see.
Mhm, and I think it's very important to have that support, in this industry, and, and we even have, parts of this Discord where if somebody makes us uncomfortable, like,
Yeah.
or we get these hateful messages and stuff like that, like, we can share those experiences with one another to
Yeah.
protect each other from it happening to us, and I think that is amazing, and, it makes me feel safe. I've always
Yeah.
felt safe in the Escape from Tarkov category.
That's good.
I hope that I can speak for a ton of people, and if I can't, I'm sorry, but, um, I again, it just doesn't feel like any other category I've ever streamed in. It feels like a
Yeah.
family. It
Yeah.
really does. I feel everyone knows everybody in some sort of way, and I know that I could go sit in anybody's channel that I know and feel comfortable.
Yeah. That's great. And
Yeah.
the other thing, the chat ads is almost like, I had Deadly on last year, and he was telling me about their streamer team that, they can bounce ideas off of, also just, vent to other people who know the frustrations that they come across, because, some of your friends in real life, they don't know some of the struggles, some of the pain points you have as being a full-time streamer. So now with the chatettes, you got a place to go to and just, sort of vent and just like, blow off steam with people
Yeah.
who can relate to what you're doing.
Oh, it's amazing. Having streamer friends versus IRL friends, it's a totally different world, and I think it's so fun to, like, when they collide, which doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's funny to me. But yeah, I have my friends that they get it, and if I
Yeah.
have questions or I wanna vent, they understand, and they know what I'm going through, and we just, like, help each other out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, in your opinion, what has been some of the toughest things about being a content creator?
Um, oh gosh, I feel like there's so many. Uh, it's always I always find it hard to like vent about the bad things that come with it because it is
Yeah.
such a great job to have.
Hmm.
But there are downsides. There is feeling like I don't know, just the basic like you feel like you're not good enough for what you're doing, the
Yeah.
imposter syndrome that comes with it, the growth, you constantly worried about like what other people are thinking about you and you don't
Yeah.
want to step on other content creators' toes and
Hmm.
you want to venture out and you want to meet new people, but you're like, I don't want to seem like I'm clout chasing. But then
Right.
I don't know, there's a ton that come with it. I think recently a main challenge for me is with growth is dealing with, like, creepers.
Yeah.
I've had that recently,
Oh.
little scares here and there.
Yeah.
We got our first little SWAT,
Oh
swatting.
no.
We
Yeah.
it didn't happen to well, it didn't happen, but we got our first little,
Oh my God.
what is it called? Thread, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh," and
That's
Michael
not
was like,
good.
"Well, you're growing." I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah." So,
Oh,
there's stuff
that's
like that, it just dealing with weird people on the internet that make you
yeah.
feel uncomfortable and unsafe, I feel like it's the biggest challenge for me recently,
Yeah.
but I kind of knew that if I were to grow that that was gonna happen, so I've kind of already mentally prepared for it,
Yeah. That's good.
uh,
Wow.
but,
Yeah. There's shitty people out there. But
yeah, they're
uh,
just you know, they have their own lives and whatever
hmm.
going on in their lives that make them sad and hateful, and I just hope the best for them,
Yeah. That's
you know?
Yeah, the other thing I hear too is the numbers game. People feeling I got to be at my computer and streaming, or my numbers are going to drop. And the mental aspect of it, the mental health aspect of it, I think that is a
Oh, man.
big thing.
Don't get me
Well, actually, I had I had an hour conversation with Veritas talking about this. That at some point, where does whether it's your sponsors or Twitch or YouTube step to the plate and have something in place for people who are making this a full-time career like yourselves, that maybe you pay into something to have the ability to do some sick days, or you need something.
Something it definitely is mentally taxing, like, to take a break. I know people are like, "It's your own schedule, I don't understand, like, you're free." But every moment that I'm not streaming, I have this weird pit in my stomach, like,
Mm-hmm.
I could be streaming, I could be making content, which is, like it's so unhealthy. Like,
Yeah.
I need to like, I look at my numbers, and there's times where I'm streaming 50 hours, 45 hours a
Yeah.
week, and I'm like, "This is not good."
No.
And, it's unhealthy to stream that much, but it is the when you look at numbers, both ways, it's kind of unhealthy to look at your growing numbers and be like, "Okay, I wanna continue and keep
Yeah.
streaming more and doing more," which is taxing. But then if you look at your numbers and they're lower than normal, then you're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Okay, again, I need to be doing more. What am I doing wrong?" And then it's like a whole mental game. When in reality, it's just it was a bad week or something
Right.
happened. There's a reason that the numbers are low, and you just gotta you gotta remind yourself to not be hard on yourself, which is easier said than done. But I've always been big on not really looking at numbers.
Yeah.
Turning the viewer count off has helped me since I did it over a year and a half ago. I keep it off. I recently keep my subscriber count off. I very of course, I have to look at it because in the
Yeah.
end, it's my income and I need to
Mm-hmm.
it's important to me. But I keep all the big numbers off the screen while I'm
Yeah.
streaming, and I try to just focus on why I'm doing it, my community, uh, enjoying the time that I have with the people that I'm playing with. Um, yeah. I do need to be better at posting content on other platforms. I kinda slowed down there, but
Yeah.
that's just a whole other I gotta do that.
Now, do you do that yourself, or do you work with an editor, or a couple of people to do that?
I used to do it myself. Now I do have a team that
Yeah.
helps me. They do my YouTube videos
Yeah.
and, which I has slowed down, but not on them at all.
Mhm.
100,000,000% on me just not giving them the content to edit. So they're probably like, "Oh my god, Amy, please." But they have been great.
Yeah,
They have been great,
excellent.
with helping with content.
So now, on days that you're streaming, like in the morning and then in the evening, do you notice a difference in your chat? Like, chat's wild in the evening, or it's pretty consistent.
Uh, the morning chat, yeah, there's a difference. I feel like day chat's pretty chill and stuff like that, and then like night chat is like horny.
Everyone gets a
That's
couple
our
of drinks
joke.
in them, and yeah, they're ready to
Yeah.
go.
Night chat's pretty crazy. I think that my chat's pretty consistent with uh, they know I'm crazy
Yeah,
and they know I say dumb things, and so they kind of reflect me sometimes and they say crazy and dumb things, but I
yeah.
love them and it's a good time.
Excellent. So now, do you remember your first time you got rated, or when your normal streaming numbers was X, and then all of a sudden it skyrocketed, and it's like, holy crap, what do I do? Were you ready for that?
Oh man. Um I trying to think one of the bigger raids that I had. My I think the bigger raids that I've had were with MsMagpie because she was partnered way before.
Yeah,
So she would send over, 200, 300 people, and I was like,
yeah,
"Holy crap, like, this is way more than I've ever seen." And my biggest raid was the first time, Dr. Lupo ever raided me, and I and my community knows this and his community knows this. I was a big Lupo fan. I still am. That sounds bad. That sounds bad. Obviously, I'm a big fan of my friend, but, I, like I looked up to him. I look up to him, and
yeah,
I always have, and I was just, like, uh, blown away when he hosted me. It was like a dream come true. I was an
yeah.
emotional. I don't think I slept for the next few days, but that was the biggest time I was like, "Holy numbers." And then it's this pressure when you get rated, and I'm sure other people have felt this too, to make it an impression, to keep those
Right.
people, to take you wanna grab that opportunity
Yeah,
by the reins because when is it gonna happen again? You don't know. You don't know when
right,
you're gonna have that many people in there, and you have to make this lasting impression for them to click that follow button and wanna come back.
right,
And so, as a content creator, you do what you can and you post stuff about it later and stuff like that. But I am forever, I'll say it over and over. I'm forever grateful for the Lupos and everything that they have done for me, and as well as my other friends like Denticles and MsMagpie again, and all of them that have been super supportive. But yeah, that was the biggest one. I got rated by Lvndmark one time too,
yeah.
which was pretty crazy. That was really dope of Tony. And so yeah, that's what and started snowballing from there. I had like the numbers were gradually going up,
Yeah,
and then I think when I really, really started seeing the numbers was after I started playing with Lupo.
yeah.
Um, and so after that, it's just gone up and up and up. And then I
Excellent,
think that opened up for people to find me and discover me and like me for me, and
excellent.
here we are. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, what advice would you give to somebody who's, going live for the first time or thinking about it?
Um, I know it's so cliche, but really be yourself because if this is something you really want to do, you don't unless you're like like Dr. Disrespect where it's like a character you're putting on,
Right,
you want to be yourself because you're going to be doing it so much. That's what you should do. Just and keep the numbers off. Don't focus on the numbers. Focus on you. Focus on the people that are in your chat. Um, and if no one's in there, no one's talking, just keep talking. Talk to yourself. Because if someone does show up, then they hear you talking and they
yeah,
want to listen to you. Um, get out there, post things on social media. Nobody really just grows from just hitting the go live button. It's all about posting on other platforms and networking. Networking is huge. I know there's this bad impression about networking, but really though, if this is like a job, it's a job, it's a
yeah.
career, and it's good to do it. And then what's great about this industry is most of the networking actually leads to genuine friendships, and then you have lifelong friends from it.
Excellent. Well, that is awesome advice. So now, do you remember your first sponsor?
Yeah. I'm still sponsored with I sorry. I get so excited because it was a dream come true. I was just I could not believe I got an email from them. HyperX.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, HyperX fell in love with my TikToks a while back, which are what that's another thing. That is what really took off my stream was my TikToks. It was when
Yeah.
TikTok came out, I was posting constantly, doing these impressions of, like, bigger streamers and, stuff like that, or TikToks that correlated with gaming. Um, but HyperX found those, and they reached out to me, and they wanted to work with me, and they're still continue to wanna work with me, which is super sick, and I'm obsessed with them, and I love them, so, yeah.
Awesome. Now, who else are you sponsored by, or you have sponsorships with?
Yeah, I have Respawn, the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Respawn, HyperX, I work with alongside Empire Jerky. And recently I'm an affiliate with King's Coast Coffee. I need to get with them though, because I don't really know what I'm supposed to do yet. We haven't actually communicated yet. But I was really excited to get that email as well because I've always wanted to be sponsored by it. It's not a sponsorship, it's
Yeah.
just an affiliation. Um, but dream is to be sponsored by preferably King's Coast,
Mm-hmm.
but in general, just a coffee company. I love
Yeah.
coffee, so yeah,
Excellent.
those are the companies I work
All
with. I'm
right.
very happy with them.
Cool. All right. So let's talk Tarkov. So you found the game through Michael. He's the one that showed it to you to the first time, and we all
Mhm.
know it's a steep learning curve. What was that first time you fired up? You're like, what the fuck am I doing with this game?
Yeah, it was I watched a lot of it through him
Yeah.
and through, he watched, Pestily, and he watched, oh, who else was it? He watched Summit, and he watched Lupo. And, so I watched a lot of it then, so I kind of knew it was super supposed to be hyper
Yeah.
realistic, challenging game. So, the first time I did it, I was so overwhelmed. I think I was mostly overwhelmed with just the lack of knowledge of gun building.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do any of that. There's so many different ammo types
Mm-hmm.
and armor and, all the things, and then, you get thrown into a raid and you're like, "I don't know where I'm at," and
Yeah.
there's no mini map in the top corner like every other game.
Right.
So you have to pull up a map on the other monitor, and I think I was just overall incredibly overwhelming,
Yeah.
um, which initially I was like I remember being like, "There's no shot I stick to this. There's no
Yeah.
shot I stick to this." And to be completely honest, I didn't fall in love with Tarkov right away. I actually forced myself to play it because, again, it was helping with numbers because it
Right.
wasn't overly saturated, but it wasn't a game that wasn't known.
Yeah.
So I forced myself to play it because I could see growth coming from it, and then because I forced myself to play it and I started learning it and getting better at it, that's
Mm-hmm.
when I fell in love with it.
Okay. Good.
But yeah, I think I I am very thankful again for the Sherpas that I've had along the way because
Yeah.
if it wasn't for them, I would probably not be playing this game.
No, the same with anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody just jumps into this game without somebody helping them because
Right.
it's hard as hell.
Mhm. Mhm. And they just keep making it harder,
Yeah.
which I love, but it's yeah, this
Yep.
game is definitely one of those games that I will have a special place in my heart forever, and as much shit as I talk about it, I always compare it to family, like how,
Mhm.
like, you could talk shit about your own family, but the second other people do, you're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa."
Yeah.
You know?
Don't
It's
go there.
like that, like, I feel like the Tarkov community, we talk shit about the game because we love it, and we care about it, and we only
Yeah.
want what's best for it and the community, but the second someone from the outside is, like, talking shit, we're like, "Whoa,
You
you
have
don't
no
get
idea. Yeah.
it." Yeah.
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 No, this game, like you said, all of us in the community who play this game just love it. There's nothing else like it. For me, there's that pucker factor. It's like no game just like, puts you on edge, and there's so many different scenarios you jump into, you get yourself in, and it's like, once you get out of a raid, it's like, it's just like, all right, I'm done. I need to take a
Yeah.
break here. Yeah, it's crazy.
It gives you it has ruined, and I'm sure you've heard this from other people, it has ruined every other game I have ever played. Every other
Mm-hmm.
FPS game, nothing. It doesn't give you that same gonna sound really bad, but it's like compared to like a drug.
Yeah,
Like it
no,
doesn't give you
it's
that.
crack. That
It's like
rush
crack.
or yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't give you that adrenaline rush like other games don't give you that adrenaline rush. That Tarkov gives you that super high feeling of popping off and killing a bunch of chads
Yeah.
and getting all this loot and finding an item that and, you're trying to make it to extract without dying and you run into a
Mhm.
player scav and you're in the fight, like, it's just and then you get out and it's that, like, high of your life, and I know me, I've had moments after raids or after fights where I'm
Oh,
shaking
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I'm like, "That was insane," and I'm so hyped, and then you keep playing because you wanna feel it again.
Right.
You wanna
Yeah.
feel that same thing,
Yeah. Yeah,
and then you go
you go into a raid and your teammate kills you. It's like, "Ah," now you just got, kicked with stones, It's just like, "God damn the save."
yeah, that'd be crazy to get TK'd by your own teammates all the time, right? Kidding.
Oh. So now
Mm,
so you've been through a couple of wipes, or this is not your
yeah.
first wipe? Okay.
No, not my first wipe. I think it's my I've lost track. 3rd or 4th?
Yeah.
I think it's my 3rd. Um, I started playing halfway through a wipe a couple wipes ago, and then I had yeah, I'm pretty sure this is my third wipe. But this is the first time I did a 24-hour for the wipe. Like I felt
Oh,
really
wow.
dedicated. Yeah, because I kind of always felt like, oh, I'm Amethystt and I kind of play Tarkov. Like I'm not really that good at it. Like I just play it. And now I definitely am. I feel like to a point where I've established myself enough in the community to be like, I'm
Yeah.
a Tarkov streamer. And so I was excited for this wipe because I did the 24 hours. I
Yeah.
had the drops for the first time.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I was so excited. I did 2 24 hours. I did it the
Oh my
first
god.
day and then I did it on my drops day, which is crazy because that was the first time I've ever done 24 hours and I did them like 2 like within like the same month or something.
Were you exhausted after that was done?
Yes, and I don't ever recommend doing 24 hours, they're so unhealthy, but, sometimes there's those things in whatever you're doing that you wanna have your first for, you wanna
Yeah.
just kinda like that little milestone, and I've always wanted to do a 24 hour, and then I did 2, and,
That's it.
I don't know, we'll see if I'll probably do one again, I'm sure, but
Uh, so now
they are exhausting.
what's your favorite quest to do? Or do you have a favorite quest?
I so I hate tasking. My community knows
Okay.
this. I loathe it. I don't I like I love that other people have this, like when it comes to video games, they like that they have tasks and they like to check them all off and
Yeah.
do them and complete them and that it's very fulfilling. And don't get me wrong, I get that too because I in the beginning of the wipe, I'm tasking like crazy and it feels nice to turn task in, but, I get bored really easily and
Yeah.
I just don't task because I personally my high for the game comes from the PvP.
Yeah.
I'm one of those annoying Tarkov I know a lot of Tarkov people are like, they don't like the chads that run around and PvP and do all the stuff but I love that. But if I had to choose, I find shooterborns
Yeah.
really rewarding.
Yeah.
It's nice hitting that 100-meter headshot on somebody. It's dope
Yeah.
and it makes you feel good about yourself. So whenever I finish that for the first this is the first wipe I think I've ever finished Shooterborn,
Yeah.
and I
It's a
was
good
like,
qu
I was on top of the world, but
Yeah. It's a good quest. It's a tough one, and when you
yeah.
get it, you're like, "Yeah, I feel like I accomplished something." And yeah, no, absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, so now so you prefer to run with teams versus solo.
Yeah.
It's more fun. But like, you said, being a Chad, that's a nice, people, give flack to Chads. I personally think the nice thing about Tarkov is there's so many different ways to play this game. And, there's no rules. You have to be a rat or Chad or it's however you want to play as long as you're having fun. That's it.
Mhm.
That's what
Mhm.
matters.
I agree. I feel like I used to kind of talk shit. I'd be like, "Oh, rats in the bushes and extract campers are annoying, and why would you ever wanna play like that, la, la, la." And then now that I've been in it for so long, I'm just like, "Who cares?" Like, as long as whoever's playing is having fun, like, of course, I don't love extract campers,
Right.
but I'm gonna admit it right now, Lupo and I have extract camped before, it would be super wrong of me to talk shit about it now. I mean, it's not like we do it all the time, it's just for fun
Right.
every once in a while, but, like, so I feel like I've kinda played a little bit of everybody's play style. I've played the rat, I've played the Chad, I've played the camper, so I'm just kinda
Yeah.
like, who cares in the end? I try not to take it so seriously anymore. I mean, sometimes I'm still very hard on myself, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So now who do you roll with mainly? Who's your main squad you roll?
Honestly, it changes all the time. I try to play with everybody I can. I
Yeah.
really do. I have so many people that I care about in this community that I love, adore playing with. I would say mostly it was MsMagpie, Bazinga that be Rock Mom, Amazon, and Anne in like the beginning. It
Yeah.
still was like Anne, Baz, and Mags for the longest time. Where like it was like us.
Yeah.
Um, and then I started playing more with like J Bebe, Von Helsing, and then of course I met Lupo, and then I started playing with that crew more, and now
Yeah.
I find myself mostly running with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just try again to play with everybody that I can.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now you get to pick the ultimate squad that you get to roll with. OG Tarkov players, you pick. Who would you like to say? And they have to say yes. You can pick like Dr. Disrespect, whoever. Who's your 3 or 4
Oh,
other people you're going to say, this is my all-star squad. I want to roll one raid with at least.
if I had to pick a 5-man,
Yeah.
even with people like, and this is no offense, right, to like people
No,
that I am friends
no,
with.
this
It's
is
just like
you could
a
pick
dream
anybody.
team.
Exactly.
A dream team. Okay. Dr. Lupo, MsMagpie, um, probably Lvndmark. I think it'd be so cool to play with Tony, Pestily, and that's it, right? Because then it'd be
Yeah.
me, and that's 5.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
5. There we go. So there we go. When this pod drops, we're gonna put it out there, and
Oh god.
there we go.
Imagine that team, that'd be something.
That would be great
Ah,
content right there. Just to hear
yeah.
all those familiar voices and with comms and everything like that. That would be
Yeah.
fun.
I wish Landmark's interesting. I've always looked up to him, and like Mike that's Michael and I's go-to channel
Yeah.
whenever we're chilling in the living room as we put Landmark on and we eat dinner and we watch, and I like learning from his play style. He's more of a solo player. And then of
Yes.
course Poppa Pest is in
Mm-hmm.
Australia, which makes it hard,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he's
yeah.
a papa now. Can you believe that?
I know. Did
Nobody
anybody
knew.
know? Nobody knew, right? Okay,
It
I
just
was like,
came
"Am
out of
I
anywhere.
crazy?"
Yeah.
Okay, I was reading the comments and I was like,
Yeah.
"Am I the only one that didn't know?" And then I looked and I was like, "No, nobody knew." Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
It
came
came out.
about. Oh,
Exactly. Yeah. It was
yeah.
wild. So now speaking of Lupo, where did that connection come from? How did you and Lupo end up meeting or just start playing together?
So he was one of the first people I ever followed on Twitch. I was a big fan of, got to meet him and Sam at TwitchCon in 2019 during the Fortnite era. Um, Kinda hit it off meeting them.
Yeah.
Just was good vibes all around. They remembered Michael and I. And then I started making those TikToks about them all playing, like his
Yeah.
crew, like Ninja and all Tim the Tap Man. And those guys fell in love with like my content and they would retweet me and like me all the time, which was super, super sick. And I always
Oh
just remember
yeah.
being on top of the world. Like I was like, this is so cool. And then I got into Tarkov, so he recognized me through the TikToks, and then he started seeing me more in Tarkov, and then I was just in
Mm-hmm.
his community. Like I was a regular, I was in pretty frequently, and made some of my really good friends through his community,
Yeah.
and then I don't even remember what I posted, but I posted something one time, and then he was like, "Let's play Tarkov." And I was like, I remember being like, I read it at like a dinner at my best friend's house. We were all sitting around drinking, and I got like the notification on
Yeah.
Twitter, and I remember being like, "Oh my god, like this is so crazy!" Like,
And
cause
nobody
like
around you had any idea of like Lupo what?
no, yeah,
Yeah.
my best friend was like, "Oh, cool."
It's
She
like,
kind of
no,
gets
not just cool.
it,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Michael was really excited for me. And so we ended up playing, and then ever since then, like, it just, like, worked. I fit in well with, like, his group of friends, and then we all
Yeah.
became friends, and now it's kind of silly, and I joke about it with him all the time, like, it's it's crazy, like, looking back and being like, "Oh my gosh, how, like, embarrassing, like, I was so, like, freaking out about you," and he's like, "No, it's super sweet, like, don't think too much into it," but now that we're friends, I'm just like, "Oh, it's weird that I was, like, a fangirl," but, yeah,
Well, it's a good
they're
friendship
great.
now. It's turned into a good friendship.
Oh, very much so. I'd consider them some of my really good friends. Care a lot
Awesome.
about them, and they've done a lot for me.
Yeah. So now when it comes to other content creators, do you watch, who else do you watch? Is there anybody under the radar that you think, people should go check out?
Oh, I have a list. I could
All
not
right.
even list them all. If I wanted to, I'll try. I well, if I'm watching Twitch, which I have a hard time finding time now,
Mm-hmm.
but if I am, or YouTube, I'm watching like Landmark or Valkyrie, right? But people know about them. But if I had to, people that you should definitely go look at. I have a great friend. His name is Von Helsing.
Oh yeah.
Von
He's coming on.
he is?
Yeah, well, see,
Oh,
I had Ash, then I had Will Des, and
yeah.
Will Des said you got to finish with a trifecta. You need to have Vaughn on, so Vaughn's lined up.
Vaughn is fantastic. He's just one of those people that when you watch, you just know he cares so much about what he's doing, his community. He cares about other people and his friends, and he is constantly thinking of new ideas to make Tarkov fun and refreshing and entertaining.
Yeah,
He's one of those people that when you watch, you're like, how does this person not have thousands of people watching him?
yeah,
Right? He's great. Him and Bay, of course, like I said, the ladies, Baz, Mags, Rock Mom, like I could just go on listing people, but yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so when sign off from Twitch, what are you doing? What are you and Michael doing? Like, did you guys like watch TV besides YouTube and Twitch? Get outside? What's your go-to thing?
Mm. In the winter, because I don't like the cold being from Texas, I'm pretty much a homebody. But now that the sun is out, we try to fit time between when I do because I do the split schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So I do the morning, afternoon stream, take like a 3-4 hour break, and then come
Yeah,
back on around 8:30 Central. In between them, we try to fit dinner, whether it's making something at home, him picking
yeah,
something up on the way home from work, or we have like this fun little bar that we go chill at, and there's like trucks, like food trucks and stuff. Get drinks and food. We'll watch our shows. We've been trying to watch more like of the Marvel shows, like we just
yeah,
finished WandaVision, stuff like that. And just like hanging out, just being with each other because we only have that little window before he's going to bed so he can get up for
yeah.
work and then streaming. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, you know what? You survived it. You got through a
I did
podcast.
it.
You did it, but there's one more thing.
Oh, okay.
At the end of every podcast, I ask the guests to nominate somebody who should come on the podcast. Who you
Okay.
shouting at? Who you throwing under the bus?
Um, oh, there's so many people. Oh my goodness. MsMagpie.
All right, she's been called out. That's it.
Good, 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 good. Yeah,
All
Max,
right.
get on here. She's great. She's good people. She
She
might
is.
be a little busy because I think she's moving and stuff. She
She
just
got
got
a
a house.
house. Yes. That's
Exciting.
awesome. Yes,
Her
finally.
and Suka. But yeah, she's good people. Should have
Excellent.
her.
All right, we'll
Yeah.
get her on. All right. Well,
Yay.
Ames, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. It's been
Of
wonderful meeting
course.
you.
You too. Thank you so much for inviting me. I know it took some time to finally get it all set up and done, but I that's just me being bad at checking my messages. So
Not a problem. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much.